of demand and supply curve. So once we bring in this, right, what happens is that naturally, okay, the market knows that we are using DDSS analysis. Okay, so of course, changes to market equilibrium is caused by changes in demand and supply factors. Okay, so this is how we actually like so-called rope in the relevant concept that we are going to use for this question. All right. Okay, okay, so can we have our points, please? If let's say you want to talk about the factors, that's fine. As in the factors, as in how it's supposed to affect the demand and supply. Okay, demand and supply. Visible. Okay, yes.
The shrinking workforce will like decrease the supply, then cause shortage.
Okay, so shrinking workforce will decrease the supply of labor and therefore cause a shortage. Okay, so shrinking workforce sounds correct. Okay, shrinking workforce basically leads to the what do you call that? A shortage of labor. Okay, because we saw from the earlier question, right, that we say that there's a chronic shortage of labor all the time. So because of that, what's going to happen? Next link.
Uh, it will cause like fall in productivity.
Ah, okay. So, fall productivity. I wasn't actually thinking of falling productivity though, but I was thinking of like how, okay, naturally, yeah. Okay, you notice something. Here they're talking about shrinking workforce. Shrinking workforce, so you do not have enough nursing care workers. But then the question is actually asking us to link to what? To link to the market for robotics. Okay, for robotics.
I
And
thought
what
it's like two separate issues.
yeah, you're right. Okay, Celine, two separate issues. You see, one is nursing care labor versus robots, no? What's the relationship between the two? How are they related? Nursing care,
Wait,
yeah. Okay,
I
shortage of
thought
labor.
it's like how does the shrinking workforce affect like Japan and like the technological advancement
Oh,
affect
okay.
the market?
I get it. Okay, now to help you, yeah, you can think of it this way. Shrinking workforce is one factor. Then the technological advancement on technological advancement is another factor. So there are two factors. So you're supposed to say how these two factors, right, will affect the market for robots. Okay. So in other words, right, we are supposed to do demand and supply analysis. So then you have to think like, okay, technological advancement. From the case, is there anything that they mentioned about technological advancement? And that means to say, what is this technological advancement like, referring to? Okay, referring to, right? Mm. So then, of course, you talk about the shortage of labor. Okay, maybe you can. Okay, I'll start with that first since you mentioned that. So there's a shortage of labor, which of course, because the case is actually referring more about the nursing care workers. So I specifically could put nursing care workers. So you know that by the forces of demand and supply, how will that affect the market for nursing care um, workers? Okay, so you know that, okay, if let's say, you see, how do we have a shortage of labor? Is when there is increased demand more than increase in supply. Agree or not? Okay, demand increase more than supply. So when demand for nursing care workers increase more than the supply, the wages of such nursing care workers will rise. Agree or not? Because there's a shortage of such nursing care workers. So the wages, if let's say the wages were to rise, then what's going to happen is that, of course, you would have thought that nursing care workers and the robots, how are they related?
Uh, like they are substitutes.
Very good. Okay, nursing care workers and the robots are substitutes. Substitutes. Because both can be used to use for caring the elderly. Right, so it's like we do not care whether they are close substitutes or not. Basically, it's the fact that they are substitutes. So if let's say the wages of these nursing care workers were to rise, okay, then likely chance is that this will have made what you call it, the consumers, okay, switch away from using who, the nursing care workers, right, to using what, robots. Okay, so that's where switch.
Why because of the increasing wages, then they will switch away?
Okay, good question. Just like example, right? Okay, you see, okay, it's the same concept as Pepsi and Coke. If let's say there is an increase in the price of Pepsi, what will you do? You will switch away from drinking Pepsi to drinking Coke, right?
Oh,
Right? So they are substitutes. So in this case, it's the same. In terms of the provision of what do you call that, of caring services to the elderly, you can use either workers or if not robots. So if let's say nursing workers are becoming increasingly scarce because there is shrinking workforce, they will have actually made available lesser of these nursing care workers, or if not, there's still an increase in nursing care workers, but not enough. That's why wages start to increase. So therefore, switch away from using nursing care workers to using robots, right? So this is where the demand for robots will increase. Okay, so this is how you actually bring in a demand factor. Okay, because they did not clearly tell you that, oh, is this a demand or supply factor? But shrinking workforce, okay, you can do your analysis this way to link it to how it became a demand factor for robots, right? So you notice the how we convert. All right, then of course, because that's also what the case is about, right? The case is about, because of the fact that there's not enough nursing workers, therefore they have to look at using robots already, right? Okay, now of course, we move on now to talking about a, what do you call that, technological advancement. Okay, what about technological advancement? Okay, is there
uh,
mm-hmm.
it encourages the innovation of robots.
Okay, so talk about the innovation of robots. Okay, oops, technological advancement. Technological advancement refers to the development of robots. Okay, so because of this, then how do you think it will affect the market for robots?
Increase.
Okay, so technological advancement sounds very much like there is possibly a more cost-effective way, right, of developing the robots, right? So perhaps we can talk about like reduces the cost of production of robots. So that is how it will have actually increased the supply, right? So supply of robots increase. Okay. All right. Now, so the thing is this. The thing is this. We have to actually consider the likely effects. Remember, likely effects of a shrinking workforce in Japan and the technological advancement of robotics market. So this is where considering these two factors, okay, these two factors, which we have actually in a sense well explained the factor. So we have to actually put this into our DDSS diagrammatical analysis, correct? And that explains why it is also 8 marks. Right, because we cannot show the effects if let's say we just to explain the demand and supply factors, but we need to put this into drawing. So my question to you is this. Thesis 1, thesis 2, point 1, point 2, okay, which are the factors? So we know that demand increases, okay, and then of course the supply also increase. So which one do you think will actually be a stronger factor? Meaning to say, which one shift more? Is it demand shift more or the supply shift more?
Supply.
Supply. Okay, what's your reasoning for supply shifting more? Yes, Celine.
Uh, yeah, I don't know.
Is it supply factor?
Uh, I just guess.
Okay, but then in the exam lah, what would you have written? Would you have really chose like supply or would you
I feel
choose
like
demand?
demand.
Demand. Okay. I would say that the demand could be a stronger reason lah. Because you know why? If you talk about like the time frame like now, okay, in the case they kept saying about like how yeah, Japan's demo I mean extract one, even extract one heading, okay, it's already saying Japan's demographic time bomb is getting more dire. So it's like sounds like, oh, that aging population actually is a very big problem now. So in terms of like the short run, which is even like the current period, you can actually expect that the demand for such robots is likely to be greater, okay, greater than the supply of such robots. Okay, why is that so? Okay, let me just combine analysis. Short run. Okay, so it's likely that likely that the demand is greater than supply. Okay, demand factor outweighs, maybe I should put this way, demand factor outweighs the supply factor. Why is that so? It's because of the fact that when you talk about, aging population, okay, aging population is significant. It is significant, okay, and of course, you can also talk about like how, wow, nursing workers are scarce. Okay, then plus the fact that even if let's say there's any technological advancement that aids in the development of robots, okay, but the thing is that yes, it helps in coming up with all these robots, but the technological advancement is probably limited. Okay, tech advancement limited in the short run. Due what do you call that? Issues. Okay, safety issues. All right, so that basically there needs to be like some sort of like a further development, okay, suggesting further development required, okay, further requirement required, required the robots, right? Okay, so as much as there's technological advancement that enables such robots to be created, but it is not foolproof. Okay, so in this time frame, which is the short run, okay, the aging population problem seems to outweigh, okay, the technological advancement that we have reason then to believe that the demand factor outweighs the supply factor. Understand? Okay,
Yeah.
so you have to be very careful when you're doing like demand supply question, like what makes you think that one factor actually outweighs the other. Okay, provide the justification. So then after that, right? Okay, so do you still need this slide?
Yeah. I say that like in the short run, then like the
Uh,
technological advances like a bit slow.
yes, you have to. Even if you don't bring in short run, it's fine, but it will be better. Okay, because you are combining these two analysis, ma. So it's like in this case, we're considering like the immediate period, which is like now, or even in the short run. But things could be a kind of different in the long run already, right? Things could be different in the long run.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So what you do next is that, of course, you will draw your diagram. Okay. So so Celine, you still remember the adjustment process?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So adjustment process as to how to identify, I mean, when the two graphs shifts, okay, then how exactly would that have actually led to what do you call that, the adjustment towards the equilibrium, right? Okay.
Okay, how do I write the short run part?
Oh, okay, wait, let me undo. Okay, here it is. Yeah. Okay. So the short run is when you say that the demand factor actually outweighs the supply factor, right? So that the aging
Oh,
population for now is more significant. Okay, while nursing care workers are scarce. Okay, so that's where, of course, yeah, as much as technological advancement allows for the production of such robots, but it is limited due to the safety issues, which suggests that there is more room for improvement lah. So that
but
could
also
mean,
like
yeah,
the technological advancement like take time to like do also.
very good. It takes time to actually fully develop the technology to produce such robots so that they can overcome the safety issues. Not just that, but then they can also have a proliferation of elder care robots, meaning to say that maybe now they only have a few models, right? Few models of elderly care robots, but proliferation of elder care robots could possibly be possible only in the long run as they develop the robots more fully. Okay, then they would have been able to maybe say come up with a robot that integrates all the different functions. Right? Okay, or it can be that they come up with robots with very specific use or function, also possible. But with the current level of technology, it might not actually be possible, right? So that is why we have this question asking about discuss the likely effects. So discuss could be like they have various effects and which will affect the equilibrium price and quantity differently. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay, so now moving on to okay, next one. Okay, so okay, just a very quick one, just to make sure that you remember. Okay, just a very quick one, yeah. Okay, so basically diagram wise, right? So this is the price of robots, the quantity of robots. So demand, okay, demand increases more than supply. Okay, so initially what we have is here. Okay, so this is the equilibrium price and quantity. And then of course what happens is that when we talk about at the so-called original price PE, remember right, dot it over, touch the demand curve. This is the demand. Okay, you can label it as Q1 if you want to, okay, Q1. So at this original price, dot it over, touch the new supply curve. This is the QS. Okay, or Q2, up to you, okay? So because of the fact that the demand is greater than the supply, right? So when demand is greater than supply, what does this give us? Shortage. Agree or not? So it's because of this shortage that we have given rise to a rise in the price from PE to P1. And of course, not forgetting, the equilibrium quantity increases from QE to Q1. Okay, so this is how you actually do the adjustment process. Okay, always remember that we start off from the equilibrium price, and after the curves actually shifted, okay, so we'll see how, okay, there's a shortage or surplus, and which of course in this case is a shortage. Then from there you move up to the new equilibrium.
Okay.
Okay, all right, nice. Okay, so this is what we have for this diagram. And of course, for the other part, okay, the other part, which is of course the flip, right? Okay, I'll just remove this, yeah. So for the flip, okay, what we do is that we now have to argue the other way. Okay, argue the other way means what? That combine analysis again. Combine, oops, combine analysis. Or maybe I should have a thesis 3 first before I have a thesis number 3. Before I have a combined analysis. Okay, thesis number 3, which is where we talk about like a technological advancement. Okay, technological advancement. Basically in the long run. Okay, technology is possibly more complete lah. It's complete. Okay, or that the what do you call that, the development or the technology is complete. Okay, or you can talk about like how it is technology is what do you call that, technology is more developed lah. Okay, more developed. What do you call that, as more time is given. Okay, more time is given to deal with the safety issues, right? The safety issues brought about in the production, brought about in the early production, early production, or during the in the early stage of producing the robots. Okay, because in the short run you possibly won't have time to go and overcome all these issues, right? But the thing is that when it comes to in the long run, all these safety issues can actually be resolved. Okay, okay, so in other words, safety issues can be dealt with more effectively as technology advanced further. Okay, yeah. And who knows, right? Okay, they can even be proliferation of elder care robots, as what they stated from the case. So this proliferation of elder care robots simply, in a sense, increases the range of robots. Okay, possibly like with different functions, right? With different functions. Because, and all of these are made possible. Okay, made possible with technology advancement, technological advancement. So that's how supply will increase by a larger extent in the long run. Make sense?
Yeah.
As in, we are not discounting the demand factor in the sense that there is still high demand for these robots. Okay, it is just that we are arguing for how in the long run the supply factor would actually outweigh the demand factor. So combined analysis. Okay, long run analysis will be that the supply factor will outweigh the demand factor. Okay, yeah, due to like whatever we mentioned about the, okay, due to greater technological success that not just reduces the, or not that increases the maybe say the quality, okay, because of safety issues, right? Okay, so increases the quality and the quantity of robots, okay, given the aging population. Okay, so that's where you can see that your analysis is well, the result lah is kind of like a different now, because of the fact that you now have your supply to be more than your demand. So supply shifts right more than the shift in your demand. So the same at this equilibrium price, okay, dot it over and you touch the new demand curve, which is like here, okay, oops, okay, then you dot it over and touch a new supply curve, which is here. So this is your QD and this is your QS. So because of this, you have what we call a surplus. So this surplus will have caused the price to drop. You notice, yeah? Oh dear, because of the way I draw, right? Oh, this is gonna be a very small drop in the price. But in any case, this will have actually led to the increase in the quantity transacted. Okay, so you notice the result is quite different in the sense that in terms of the price, the difference is in terms of the price, because in both cases, right, the quantity transacted increased. Okay, but that of course the difference just lies in the price, where here there's a fall in price in the long run. The robots are expected to be cheaper. Okay, whereas of course in the short run, the robots tend to be more expensive.
Why is it like price of robots as the axis?
Yes, correct. So it has to be the price of robots. Because what we are analyzing, right, is actually the robotics market. So robotics market, you will have to be the price of robots and the quantity of robots.
So must I write like all the price increase, decrease, and like the quantity?
Yes. Yes, you have to. In fact, you have to give the adjustment process, like, you know, at the price PE, the original equilibrium price occurs at where supply curve S intersects with demand curve D, producing an equilibrium market price and quantity of PE and QE. Right, following the rightward shift of both supply and demand curve, but where supply shifts more than demand from S to S1 and D to D1. So at the price of PE, this resulted in a surplus where QS is greater than QD, correct? So with this surplus, it causes a downward pressure on the price. So with the downward pressure on price fell from PE to P1. And this fall in price basically led to a simultaneous increase in quantity demanded, okay, and also a fall in quantity supply, right? Until a new market equilibrium is attained, whereby S1 intersects with D1, producing a lower equilibrium price of P1 and higher equilibrium quantity of Q1. Understand?
Yeah, must write everything.
Yeah, everything. Because you want to, I mean, okay, you might remember that after drawing the diagram, then only you bring in the explanation with reference to diagram. Okay, that's always the case lah. Okay, that is always the case. All
So
right.
then we have like two diagrams.
Yes, correct. You have two diagrams. So that explains why it is like 8 marks. Okay,
So
it's because you have to give like you have to give the analysis lah, because you can't show the effect on the market if let's say you haven't actually gotten the graphs, right, to show the effects. Because if you just give supply and demand factors, you are just explaining the factors, but you can't actually really see the effect in terms of the equilibrium price and quantity. Because when they give you the keyword market, right, what they actually want you to bring in, right, is the effect on the price and quantity. Got it?
yeah.